She was the same woman I had watched through my bedroom window. The same woman whose intimacy I had witnessed that night. And now she was standing right in front of me. She was dressed casually, her hair loose around her shoulders, with a hair tie around her wrist. One hand was wrapped around the pole inside the carriage. Her back was to me. I tried not to let her notice me, but I kept watching her. From behind, I could see her light, loose hair and her slim, pale figure beneath her clothes. I lowered my head, but a few moments later, I found myself wanting to look at her again. My eyes wandered over her figure, noticing the curves of her body beneath her clothes and the way her jeans fit her. A small smile appeared on my face before I even realized it. I found myself thinking about how this was the same woman whose naked body I had seen beside her partner only a few nights ago. And now she was here, fully dressed, standing in a subway car like anyone else. I lowered my head again. But this time, my mind stayed with her. At the next station, she stepped off the train without ever noticing me. I stayed in the carriage and continued on my way. I was so lost in my thoughts that when I finally came back to myself, I looked up at the station signs. I realized I was somehow very close to a cemetery. So I decided to get off at the next station and go visit my mother's grave. I walked into the cemetery. I was looking for my mother's grave, surrounded by all those graves, all those people who had once lived and were now gone. Some had left something behind. Others had simply come and gone. As I walked between the graves, looking at the names carved into the stones, a young boy with a dirty, darkened face came up to me. "Sir, would you like a flower?" He held out his hands, offering me one. I looked at him. He was just a little boy with a dirty face, filthy hands, and an oversized men's shirt that looked like it belonged to someone else. It was far too big for him. He was trying to sell me one of the flowers people bought to leave at graves. But I stopped for a moment. I don't know why. Something about the scene felt different to me. It was as if death itself was selling me a flower. As if the boy wasn't trying to sell me a flower at all. He was trying to sell me death. I don't know why I bought it. I reached into my pocket and pulled out some money. Then I took the flower from his dirty hands. I noticed his loose trousers, covered in dust and sometimes stained with mud. Then I looked down at his worn-out shoes. Every time he took a few steps away from me, I could hear them dragging and making a faint, uneven sound against the ground. I had just bought a flower from hands that, somehow, felt like they were selling me death. I smelled the flower. Then I placed it on my mother's grave. I don't know why. I couldn't find the words. It felt like all I wanted to do was look at her. It was a kind of farewell for all the seasons, not just autumn. My eyes began to fill with tears, and once again I thought about how hard it is to leave, and how much harder it is to stay and keep going. The tears kept coming, and without even realizing it, I sat down on the ground. I felt broken, as if I were going to bend over that grave like the hunchback of Notre Dame, crying until a hump grew on my back. I was broken. And there, for the first time, the sound of a grown man crying filled the air. A place where I couldn't hold it back anymore. I wanted to lie there beside that grave, not for a few seconds, but for all the seasons. Again, I thought maybe my tears would make my mother sad. Maybe seeing me again like this, seeing her grown son, a man who had spent all these years trying to hold himself together, finally unable to do it and crying, would hurt her. But the truth was, her hands weren't there. She wasn't there. And I was left with the thought that if she had been there, if she could see me, I knew my mother would never have been able to bear seeing me cry like that. And because I still didn't want to make her sad, I pulled myself together. I wiped the tears from my face with my hands, and I just looked at her. The same gravestone, the same flowers lying on top of it, flowers that no longer had a scent.